These are difficult times. The edifice of democracy begins to crumble, and a citizenry not yet hearing the clarion call for action risks awakening only when the chains are already fastened. We meet tonight not in comfort, but in the shadow of danger. The hour is late and the peril is real. We are summoned not by ease or convenience, but by duty and by destiny. Democracy, that most delicate arrangement of human hope and human wisdom, stands trembling at the brink. It has endured storms before. Tyrants who would shackle the mind, despots who would bind the spirit. And yet it has endured only because men and women of conscience refuse to stand idle. What is democracy? It is not merely the casting of votes nor the tallying of numbers. It is the solemn covenant that each voice matters. That power is not to be seized, but entrusted. That authority derives not from fear, but from the consent of the governed. And why is democracy better? Because it dignifies the human soul. Because it lifts the lowly, humbles the mighty, and reminds all that liberty is not the gift of rulers but the birthright of humankind. Yet liberty without vigilance is a house built upon sand. Athens once knew greatness, when men debated in the agora and power bowed before reason. But Athens fell, not to the spear of Sparta alone, but to the weakness of her own people, seduced by vanity, divided by faction, wearied by the duties of citizenship. Rome, too, forgot. The Senate fell silent, the people turned inward, and one man draped in purple shattered a republic once mighty. Shall we now forget in our own time? There are those among us, indeed those who once swore oaths to defend the Constitution, who would trample its parchment beneath their boots. They lie, they incite, they summon mobs to defile sacred halls. They speak openly of vengeance, of retribution, of power seized and never surrendered. This is not politics. It is the beginning of tyranny. The shock and awe strategy, to bewilder, to batter, to desensitize, has been employed by tyrants from Caesar to Mussolini. It numbs the conscience and erodes the will until citizens become spectators and spectators become subjects. Let us be clear. When the strong man stands before the crowd and tells them to trust only him. When the ballot is ridiculed, the press denounced, the judiciary threatened. When mobs are called patriots and lies are called truth. That is the death knell of liberty. But not yet. There is time still. I tell you now, as Lincoln told his divided nation at Gettysburg, the world will little note, nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. So too, what we do now, or fail to do, will be etched into eternity. We need not look far for courage. In Poland, the people rose, tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, until tyranny retreated. In Ukraine, men and women stand in the snows of war, defiant in the face of overwhelming force, proclaiming by their blood that democracy is worth the fight. And here, in our own republic, we must rise. What does it mean to be a citizen? It means to think, and to care, and to act. It means to place truth above convenience, duty above comfort, and country above self. Civic virtue is not a phrase for dusty textbooks. It is the lifeblood of free peoples. It is the daily decision to participate, to inform oneself, to reason with others, to challenge power, to uphold the law, and to live not for oneself alone, but for the common good. If democracy is to survive, then we must forge, here and now, a new age of civic honor. Let this be your guide. Study before you speak. Vote in every election as though the world depends on it, because it does. Speak with clarity, with humility, and with courage. Organize on, for no great cause was ever won alone. Hold power accountable not once, but always. Protest, not for anger's sake, but for justice's sake. Teach that liberty and reason are the highest inheritances we leave to our children. These are not burdens, they are honors. They are the price we pay for freedom, and a price gladly paid by every generation who refused to bend the knee. The stakes are no less now. We have seen in Hungary, in Turkey, in Russia, what follows when democracy is abandoned: silence, fear, cruelty, and darkness. We have seen in Rome and in Athens the ruin that follows when citizens retreat from their responsibility. We stand at that precipice. But we are not condemned to fall. We can rise. Let us rise not as partisans but as patriots. Not as cynics, but as builders. Not with hatred, but with hope. As Churchill said in Britain's darkest hour, to each there comes a moment when they are figuratively tapped on the shoulder and invited to do something for their country. What a tragedy if that moment finds them unprepared or unworthy. Let us be prepared. Let us be worthy. These are darkening days. But as long as free men and women draw breath, light may yet prevail. We will vote. We will reason. We will teach. We will organize. We will stand. And if we stand, united in purpose and steadfast in resolve, democracy will not perish from the earth. The time is short. The duty is clear. The moment is ours. Let history say of us, as it said of those at Thermopylae, at Valley Forge, at Selma, that we stood, that we spoke, that we acted, and that democracy endured.